Hello and welcome to a new episode of Comic Book Weekly. And we are down a man. Mike had a really busy week this week and did not have a chance to finish his book. So he is staying out this one to catch up. But hopefully he'll be back next week. But don't worry, there's not a lot of news this week. So we're going to talk a lot about comic books. And if you guys have topics you want us to discuss on the show, this is probably the best show to do it because I feel like as San Diego gets closer, and I think the reason we haven't gotten news is hopefully because they actually are announcing things at San Diego.
Yeah, it seems like we've seen a few stories like this is going to be announced there, that's going to be announced there. So hopefully that is the case.
Yeah, and I'm curious about like the comic side of things because we know that Marvel and DC like studios are going to be there and they'll probably announce stuff. But I'm going there for work and I was looking through the panels and Marvel Comics only has like 3. I mean, they are for their major events, so I'm sure they'll slip announcements here and there for that, but I was surprised by that. But the indie companies seem to really be there full throttle. I'll keep you guys updated. So let's get into the very few news pieces, and we're going to like kind of go on a tangent on one of them just because we both finished the show. Or the season, and that is Stranger Things is getting a spinoff and stage play. Sure.
Why not?
And I know that the creators are also making a Death Note show as well, which we already saw that on Netflix and didn't do so well. So interested to see what that's going to be about.
Yeah, I'm excited for a spinoff. I don't know what it's going to be. They said it wasn't going to focus on like the known characters. It's going to be like somebody else or something. So hopefully it's cool and interesting. I'm sure it will be. Stranger Things was fantastic. So
yeah, it's so funny. I watched it with my brother because it's like not the one show we both watch, but it's a show we've been watching since season 1, and we were in coincidence caught up on the show. We watched the volume 1 and we're like, oh, there's only the 2 episodes left, and he's like, I'll watch the first episode, you watch the first episode like yourself, and then watch the second episode together. And then we're watching it and we're like an hour and 30 minutes in, and I was like, oh, we're talking about like who we thought was going to die or whatever. And then I was like, oh, I don't know if anyone's going to die, blah, blah. And he's like, what do you mean? It's the series finale of the show. And I'm like, it's not the series. This is like, there's another season, right?
The funny thing about that is, Kat, Lisa and I thought the same exact thing. For some reason, we thought this was it. And we were like, that's why we binged it. We took like the entire weekend and just binged the entire season. And we're like, who's going to die? I don't think anybody's going to die. That guy's going to die, surely. And then as it was starting to end, it was like, how can they leave it like this? It's like a cliffhanger. So we were like, then we looked it up. Yeah, so.
I think because I feel like they originally announced it was going to be this season. Maybe they were like, no, we have a season 5. Because that was in my head when I first watched the season. And Phil said the same thing, like when we were first watching the volume 1 section. And then I quickly learned that season 5 was coming, and I just expected, okay, we're getting a season 5. But it was good.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go on.
Just to add to that, it's probably because we did not watch volume 1 when it came out. We just watched it all this weekend. So we avoided everything Stranger Things from that point on. So
that was a lot for you. That's a lot of hours of Stranger Things that you watched.
Oh yeah. It was a lot.
Oh man. I like this season. I watched season 3 back to back to this one because I was waiting because it was so far off that I hadn't finished season 3. So I was kind of waiting until it came to season 4. So I didn't have to like the wait wasn't as long. So I watched it like a week before. And I like season 3 a lot more. I like this season. I do think there's a lot of arcs that ended mid-season, and they didn't like. I think Max's character is a great example. Great arc where they ended in like episode 4 and they didn't do anything with her. Yeah, and I think that was a lot of characters where it's like, oh, 11 had an arc, but it ended in episode 3, and then they didn't do anything with her. And by the end, like, yeah, you do like the bigger plot that's being dealt with, but the character arcs kind of simmered at the end.
Yeah, I feel like this season in particular was kind of like, if you put it all together, this was the climax. So everything was like moving. And so you didn't have a whole lot of time to build those character arcs this season. But I agree with you. And they left so much up in the air by the end of this one. It's like, what? And man, though,
no spoilers, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Jay Saber, we're not going to spoil anything.
Right. I will say a few things I did not see coming, or I thought they were going to go a different direction. Max's character, something with her.
That was interesting.
Yeah, but the one thing that did happen with a character's end, I did kind of see that coming. But yeah,
I was spoiled on one of the characters, but I didn't have a huge connection to him, so I was like, whatever, I don't really care. I was happy that the thing that happened to Max, I was not spoiled for, so I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's
me
interesting.
too.
We'll see what ends up happening. But right. I liked it. I like Stranger Things. I do think it was long, and it was too long for me, honestly. I think the pacing was pretty off this season, and it wasn't my favorite season. It was better than season 2 for sure. But I still like season 1's my favorite. No matter what, like season 1's gonna be my favorite, and I think season 3
was really good. Yeah, I mean, there were certain things about the season I liked. I liked, you got more of Will and his struggling with his issues.
Yeah, you got a little bit more,
a little bit, not enough, but a little bit. And so I like some of that stuff. But I had a thought I was going to say, and I can't think of. I'm glad we finally got some of the secrets revealed that we have been waiting for. But as far as like the pacing, I agree with you. I think if this was the final season, it made sense to make the longer episodes and push it all together and like that. But with another season coming and not for like a couple of years, I think they could have spread it out, given us more episodes, and broken this up into like a spring and fall kind of thing.
Yeah, why give us episodes like 3 weeks after Volume 1 came out? I wish they split it in half. But I guess maybe, the pacing was so off this season. Maybe they didn't even know they're going to do a Volume 2 in the second half. So, but I would have liked a Part 1 and Part 2. Just to have more episodes.
Yeah, like that last episode, there were breaks, like 2 breaks in there where you could have split that into 3 different episodes. I mean, it was a natural break and natural episode cliffhanger. I don't know why they combined it all.
Yeah, for sure. Why do you think this season's bad? I never said that. I just said I like season 3 more. I liked it. I just had slight criticisms about it. I think that, like I said, there's just wasn't a perfect season. I don't think it was a bad season. I don't think Stranger Things even season 2. I don't think was bad, and a lot of people hate it.
Yeah, I'll say fantasy fans will appreciate. Oh yeah. Yeah,
because it was 2 hours and a half. Because no one needs a 2 hour and a half anything.
Yeah. I'll say fantasy fans, they're like fans of the parties, like Lord of the Rings or whatever, and you get your party together, then they get split off and they're all doing different things and they converge to. I think you'll appreciate that. There's that comparison, which ties into the D&D stuff, and I like that. But yeah,
I see that. So we also have a couple questions here. So we have I'm actually gonna scroll all the way up. So Gus asks, you're landing straight to San Diego. I am, thankfully. I don't need no connecting flights. The other one was Bronze Page. Did you see any nominations, the Emmy nominations today? I saw some of them. I know like Arcane was up for one. I know that Stranger Things got a lot, but people were upset that Max didn't get an Emmy. Who else? A lot of people were mentioning like What If Marvel. I think Hawkeye got a couple. People were saying. I didn't look too deeply though.
Yeah, I didn't see them at all. This is like the first time I've been on my computer today.
Let's see what else we got here. I think I saw a couple more questions. It's for the people asking for Mike. Yeah, he's not going to be on this week, but hopefully we'll get him back on next week. All right, let's get into. Well, I guess one thing I do want to mention about Stranger Things, going back to the spinoff, I think I'm a little. I'm interested because obviously we all want more Stranger Things, and the kids are getting older, so I understand why the show's gonna end. But I'm always worried because you're like, oh, they might just be making this out of popularity and not because you need it. And you know, we've seen that with so many franchises. Walking Dead's a great example of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I hope that's not the case, and I hope they actually have a solid story to tell with different interesting characters, and maybe it's like a completely different thing. So,
all right, let's get in. Yeah, for sure. Let's get into the only other news piece, and then we'll head to some comic books and some Kickstarter plugs. But the Irredeemable returns. Which I remember when I was like getting into indie comics more, which is more towards like like sophomore year of high school, I would say this was a very popular book. And it was
Yeah.
just on the cusp of me like picking indie books up. Like I think my first like indie book I followed was like iZombie. Not that I didn't read other ones, but I remember reading that like every month. And I think Irredeemable came out a little bit earlier than that. But I remember people saying it was a fantastic book. And it's just interesting to see Mark Waid doing other things. I remember he was doing this stuff with Humanoid. Like that was either his company or he was a big part of the company. And I guess now he's like, no, I'm going to go back to going to Boom and doing stuff with DC. So it's just interesting to see him put a lot of different hands in the cookie jars.
Yeah, it is interesting, but Mark Waid's always been one of those creators that does bounce around and do a lot of different things. He was also like the lead. I forget his actual role, but at CrossGen, he was like one of the guys in charge of that whole line and different things. And he was Boom's editor in chief at one point. So he likes to do different things, I guess. But he's a cool guy. I think I've told this story before, but I actually got him to sign Irredeemable #1 at Heroes Con. I think it was like 2009. But so, I mean, it's really cool. I love the series. I think I like the main series better than some of the spinoffs, but I'm glad to see him come back to it. And I think they launched a Kickstarter today.
They did
for like a whole collection of Irredeemable and all the books tied to it in hardcover or something like that. So last I checked, it was like over 25K. Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's interesting to see that Boom's doing more collections than this is their third Kickstarter. They did the Power Rangers collection, now this collection, and obviously they did Berserker. So it's interesting to see what big companies are doing with Kickstarter. And a lot of them are doing collections.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like Aspen does like first issues of like relaunch books or stuff like that. And like they did a new Fathom and a new Soulfire, and then they just build off of that. So it's interesting. Yeah.
There's definitely two routes to it because like with collections, it's easier to make money. So like that makes sense. But then on the other side, like, you know, other companies like a Boom or IDW or stuff like that, you would think they would use it more for their issue 1 launches like Nocterra or Berserker, because that's where you kind of need the money more, because those books have already been made. So they've already made the money they needed to. This feels like they're just getting extra cash. But like for those issue 1s, that's like where you actually need to make that backlog money to create these issue 1s. So I find it interesting to see them doing collections instead. Yeah,
especially if they have big name creators on a book that they're about to launch. It would make sense to do that. Yeah. Like if they were doing Kickstarter when Klaus came out, that would be a perfect example of that. But it's just, that business model of double dipping with we're going to do the paperback, then we're going to do the hardcover, now we're going to do the omnibus, and so on and so forth. It's just like ramping that up to another level, I guess. Oh, looks like we got a super chat.
We do. Why don't you read it?
Yeah, Supreme Omega asks, on Disney Plus shows, do you feel MCU is not used to doing grounded street level serialized storytelling, as seen with the criticisms in Miss Marvel and Moon Knight?
I've only seen the pilot of Moon Knight, and I decided I want to binge Miss Marvel because they were definitely going more towards the more of the history and like the background of Miss Marvel's powers. I'm like, I think this would be a lot more interesting to watch, not weekly. Because originally when I watched the first 2 episodes, I thought it was gonna be like a high school show. And they definitely lean more towards the mythology. So I decided I want to binge it. So I've only seen like the first 2 episodes of that. I don't know if the criticism ever has been street levelness. I mean, Miss Marvel, I haven't really heard much criticism. I guess it's just maybe it's not targeted to them. And then Moon Knight, I also thought I heard mostly good things about that.
Yeah, I guess if you're comparing it to what Netflix did with the MCU stuff, it's completely different. And, you're going for a different vibe there. They were very much more focused on that and the darker side of Marvel and stuff. But these are more in line with like what the movies were, I think. And I haven't finished either one of them. I think we watched like 3 episodes of Miss Marvel and maybe 4 of Moon Knight so far. So I can't really give a full opinion on either one of those yet.
All right. Well, that was all the news. So we're going to talk about my Kickstarter. So speaking of Kickstarter, I'm going to screen share, and that is by visibility. We're going to pop that up. And we have very little over a week to fund, and we're close to like $6,000 that we need, or a little above $6,000 that we need to meet our goal. So hopefully you guys could go check it out. It's all different genres about bisexuality, but you don't have to be bisexual to enjoy it. I think you've enjoyed genres like sci-fi, vampires, superheroes, reality TV, romance. There's a story for you. There's a lot of great artists on this one as well. So go check it out. I will put the link in the description below. So that's the Kickstarter side.
Absolutely.
I hope so. I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there. We've had a pretty decent mid campaign. We had a pretty big goal. So, that's why it takes a little longer with the big goal, but it also would pay for the whole book, which is a lot of copies of that book. And also, we had a lot of stories in this one as well. So, definitely was a big, ambitious one this time around. But yeah, so that's the Kickstarter stuff. I'm trying to see if there's any other comments. Me and Brant do not watch The Boys, and know it's a show that we need to watch. I see some comments about that. It is on my binge list, and when I say it truly is on the binge list. But there's also other things on the binge list to watch before that. So
yeah, I've actually watched seasons 1 and 2. I watched one episode of season 3. That's it. So.
I didn't even know you watched season 1 and 2. But yeah, no, I've heard this season was good. Heard good stuff. We have a cool question here from Bronze Page. How do you all pick up your new books each week? What drives you to buy, cover or story? Ooh, like that. I think for all of us here, it's story. I know for Mike, he'll pick up some books for like the cover, but he'll read the books for the story, and most of his polls are for the story. Yeah. And for me and Brant, especially, it's for the story. And obviously, Brant will speak on himself. But we have talked about this in the past, so I do know his answer on that. And how do you pick your new books? For me, I always just like look through everything that's coming out from the direct market. If it's a new book, I read this premise, and if I'm not completely sold on it, I'll look through like the preview pages and be like, oh, that art looks good. I'll pick that up. And then for Marvel and DC, it's so easy because we've been reading it for so long. So you're like, oh, I like that writer, or I like that character, or like, oh, this is going to have a big thing that happens. So and what drives me personally, I love comics. I love the medium. So I enjoy reading the books. But Brant, how about you on all those questions?
Yeah, identical to everything you said. And the only thing I'll add is after I've, picked out my books, if a cover just pops out at me on the shelf, I'll pick it up and look through it and maybe take a chance on it. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much what you said.
Nice. That was a very good question. Thank you so much for that. Now we are going to actually get into, again, like books, but our main topic too. So the main topic was Batman issue 125 worth the hype?
Yeah. So was it? No.
That
is the first big book we are actually going to talk about. So that is our topic. But before that, we do want to remind you there are spoilers. So if you have not read your books from last week, know that going in. So Batman 125, big issue, Chip Zdarsky's first issue. What did you think of it, Kat?
I really liked it. I mean, like, I already knew I was gonna like it, but because it's Chip Zdarsky and right. Tim Drake's gonna be the Robin, but I thought it just did such a good job to make it feel like puzzle pieces. I feel like a lot of times when you get a first run or just like a comic in general, it feels like this one big thing and everything relies on that one big thing. And there wasn't just one big thing. There was a lot of different, I would just call it nuance happening in the book. You have Batman dealing with kind of the loss of Catwoman, which kind of came out like, oh, when did that happen? But now they're not together, of course, because Batman can't be happy. But then you also deal with Batman wanting to kind of be Bruce again. Then Tim gets shot. There's so much that happens. Then you have some little layer of Penguin at the end. This is how you do comics. This is how you make a beginning of a run. And I thought Chip kind of did it perfectly here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I really enjoyed it too. And I love seeing Tim back as kind of the main Robin for now. And that brings me back to a time when, Batman was like one of my favorites because Tim's my favorite Robin. So always love seeing Tim in that role. And Tim's heroic side, which I don't think we've seen a whole lot of in recent years. We see it here and there, but he hasn't been a focus. So I'm glad to see that, and I like the way the story was structured. You had it, like you said, it wasn't just you're thrown into the middle of a story or the big a big event or something like that happen, or a villain taking over the city, that kind of thing. It was different, and it was, like you said, it was back to basic detective work here for Batman and this, and I like that.
It still felt new.
Yeah, it still felt new, and it was like nothing was as it seemed, and that kind of thing. So there's layers to it. So yeah, I really enjoyed this first issue.
Yes, we actually have a couple of comments here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read Jace's comment, and then I'll go to Gus's question. Kat must get her books at 2 a.m. on Wednesday in order to read them and have her video up so quickly. And then Gus says, do you have your new comics already, or must you wait until Wednesday? Why won't they sell early? They can't sell early. The only reason they get it early is just because of like shipment issues. They want to make sure the stores have it on time for Wednesday. It's just they're not allowed to do it. For me, I actually do read all my books on Wednesday. I don't read anything in advance, but I will be honest, I have most comics I could read in advance like a month before, just because I do press and I've been doing this for a long time. Like I have them digitally. I literally could read every book for free. Legally could read it all for free because I do press. But I love the experience of reading it physically, and I love supporting the industry. So I buy my books, I read them all on Wednesday. And honestly, it's just the me time. I tell everybody that. I'm like, I work all the time. I do everything. Like that Wednesday, those few hours is just for me. It's just for me to read my books and enjoy them, get to talk to you guys about it. So, I read them all on Wednesday. There's sometimes Wednesdays don't always work perfectly, and I don't have time on Wednesdays to only read. So those are the times I will read some books in advance to make sure I get everything ready for Wednesday. But most of the time, it's just me reading on that Wednesday, and I don't have that many books. I usually have like 10, 14. That doesn't take me that long to read.
Yeah, not me. I don't get my books.
I'm a speed reader.
Yeah, I don't get my books till like Friday, and I'm reading from Friday to Tuesday. I read my last 2 books like an hour ago. So,
let's see if there's anything else here. Okay, that's it for the comments. Oh, did I miss a
question? You said you were going to answer Gus's question or something. Or
that was the question.
That was that question. Okay, sorry.
Sorry. Okay, so let's get into the next comic.
Yeah, so Amazing Spider-Man number 5. I'm still not loving this.
No, I do wish Mike was here because I know he's like the one.
Yeah.
Either who's really liking it or has a little bit more faith in it.
I think that's it. He has more faith in it.
I think he has a little faith, and he's like, I think this could be good, but this is more of nothing. The only one interesting thing was like Black Cat talking to Peter, and that was also a little bit of nothing. There was like one little tidbit there. It's like, oh, will they get back together? Honestly, I can't tell you anything about this issue. I don't think really happened.
The one thing we got was something happened to Ben. So I mean, that's like it. I assume Ben Reilly, and maybe that kicked off this whole thing with him and Mary Jane. I don't know, but we still just didn't get anything to build towards that. And then, like some of the art of Spider-Man's face, it was worse than usual. And it took me completely out of the story. And it's just, I did not love this issue, unfortunately.
Yeah. We do have a question from Willie off topic. Why does everyone call everything woke? My answer to that is because people don't know how to give real criticism to things. So when people don't like something or they think it's different from what they like, they'll be like, it's this. And they don't actually know how to like critically say how they feel about something, or they just jump the gun and be like, oh, this is something I'm not familiar with. Let me do this. Like they don't like giving things a shot is my opinion.
I'm not even going to go there.
It's a question that's asked a lot. All right, let's go to our top 5, I think.
Yeah, number 5, yeah. So let's see. I'll go first on this one. So my number 5 is actually Firepower. Not a whole lot happened in this issue, but I like the Gathering of the Masters, and it's always Owen's family stuff that really drives the story for me. And we got to see, his kids wanting to go to battle and him having to, kind of, tell them that you got to be the last line of defense. That's it's not because you can't do anything. It's I need you here in case I die, basically. And I like that. It was powerful. You had a nice, very small, very short moment between them, but still. And knowing at the end of the issue, he's back in his traditional garb, I guess, and about to go to battle. So, like I said, not a whole lot of forward momentum, but still a solid issue.
Yeah, for me, it was an okay issue because of what you were saying. There wasn't a lot
Right.
that happened in it. And I even think some of the family beats were very similar to stuff we've already seen. There wasn't even a lot of new information there. But the art's always good. I'm curious to see what this is building up towards. I hope it's going somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Somewhere big, I hope. I mean, if it's just we beat the dragon, we win and save the world, and we're done, I'm going to be a little underwhelmed. So we'll see. All right. So what was your number 5 then?
Mine was, I think, Captain America, but let me double check.
That's my number 6.
Yeah, Captain America. Yeah, I thought this issue wasn't as good as issue 1, but I thought there was some interesting beats to it, especially the end where we get to see Peggy return, and she's kind of part of this symbol fight that's going on. So. Yeah, no, I thought it was there was maybe some pacing issues in this issue, especially towards the beginning. Where I'm like, where is this going? But then I was like, oh, okay, this is a cool narrative. And the art's solid. I'm just surprised I'm liking a Captain America book.
Right? Yeah, the pacing was the only thing that knocked it down to 6 for me, but the way it ended was really strong. And seeing Peggy, I did not expect that, and especially her to be on that side of things. So, that's going to be really interesting when Steve finds out that, it's Peggy behind all this. So I can't wait to read next issue now, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be interesting. There's definitely something being planned, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So next big book is the other big book that came out this week from DC, especially is Dark Crisis number 2. Did you like this one better than you liked issue 1, Kat?
I think I kind of liked it the same, I would say. I liked the I liked the moments with John and Nightwing. I thought that was interesting. But I still don't really like the overall plot. I just feel like this means nothing. It's like even with I think it was revealed that Black Adam was the leader. Are you paused? Oh no, you're good now. No, I think it was revealed that
I'm going in and out.
Are you? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, but you can still hear. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with I think this was the issue that was revealed that like Black Adam was gonna be like the leader of Justice League or whatever. But yeah, no, it's hard to take it seriously when a lot of different notes happening in this book aren't being affected by other titles. So it's hard to get into in that respect.
Yeah, that's the one disappointment with me. It's like we have Deathstroke like leading this whole army in this issue, but like in his book we went back to year 1, and like I don't even know what's going on in the Teen Titans Academy. If that ties into this at all, I don't know because I'm not reading it anymore. But I actually like this issue better.
I think it ended.
Did it end? Okay.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this issue. I just had fun with it. I don't know why, but for some reason it got my attention this time around, and I liked. By the end of it, the Green Lantern Corps is coming together and joining the fray. So, kind of evening the odds a little bit. So, I don't know. I don't love that it was like Black Adam taking over the Justice League because the kids aren't good enough or ready or whatever. That was I didn't like that. But overall, I thought it was a stronger issue than issue 1.
I think we also had a question from Tevia. Did you guys see Thor: Love and Thunder Obi-Wan? I think Brant could answer the Obi-Wan. I don't want to spoil Thor: Love and Thunder, and I don't know if Brant even wants my thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder to not like take away from what you're gonna go see. But yes, I have seen it, and I haven't seen Obi-Wan.
Okay. Kat loved Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know where you said it, but Lisa saw it. So
yeah, no, I loved Thor.
Yeah.
Loved.
No, I don't know what she said, but yeah. Anyway, Obi-Wan, I enjoyed it. My father-in-law hated it, but he was like, "It's the same old crap." But I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid. A couple of episodes in the middle were a little slow, but overall, I liked the arc. So,
Cool.
Not much else to say there.
Cool. So I think we are moving on to whatever book I think it was Captain America. We already talked about it.
Yeah, exactly. So on to our number 4s then. So what was your number 4?
Mine had a default, and I do think the book was a little better than issue 1, and that's Poison Ivy, issue 2. I like her. I like her. I like her, what she has to say. I enjoyed like her comments about being a vegetarian, at least from her point of view. But the plot is just not interesting to me. So I'll continue it. I like the art. There's something about it, and I just want to see what's up with Ivy, but I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, that's the one thing about it. I did like this issue better too. And I love her inner monologue as she's writing the letter to Harley or whatever. And the introduction of the other like criminal that she interacts with, and just a momentary, like, not remorse, but almost like, should I go through with this kind of thing? I appreciate that. Just little notes here and there, but I agree with you. Is this just Poison Ivy's going to burn the world basically, or is there more to it? Is she going to be stopped? Who's going to stop her if that's the case? Is Harley going to come into this? There's a lot of questions, and that's going to keep me interested at the very least. So, yeah. It did not make my top 5, though.
Understandable.
All right. So my number 4 was Strange Academy, issue number 18, which is the last issue for now, but it said at the end it's returning this summer, so that's not a very short break.
No.
Yeah, so maybe a month later, 2 months maybe tops. But it was. I think what it had been building up to the entire series was there was this conflict between there was 2 sides of the students, and they were going to split because Dormammu's son and this girl named Emily, they were dating, but he saw a vision and he thinks he's bringing about the end, and they're going to be on opposite sides. And up until this point, he thought he was the evil one, that he was going to bring about this whole division. And now they're like half the students walked out last issue or the issue before, and now they're like hiding out in the Sanctum Sanctorum. And Doyle goes and finds out more about this and realizes that he's not the evil one, that it's this ring that he had given Emily, and now she's the evil one. And so now he's going to stop it. And that's kind of where we leave things. Emily, unleashes her power on all the teachers, but she's still got half the students on her side. So that's kind of where we leave things off. It was a nice cliffhanger. I thought it was a pretty solid issue. So, and the art's always nice in this book.
Cool.
All right. So the next big book then is Mighty Morphin, number 21.
Yeah, Mighty Morphin, I thought was a better issue than we've been getting. I liked it. That was in Kim's point of view. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also dealing with Jason's mom's death in this issue. Yeah. Trying to figure out what happened in the end of this issue. Oh, yeah, they got the new, like, ecto ness to them. I thought it was an interesting concept that they were exploring, that there's these new rangers now, and they're like, what makes us so special? And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. But I mean, there was, and I guess I didn't mind like the shopping spree and stuff like that.
That was maybe a little bit too much, but it was nice to see Trini and Kim talk a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was just like, okay, we're gonna go shopping, and then we're gonna experiment and play in the grid and stuff like that. But at the end, they get like trapped in this microverse or this pocket dimension or whatever it is. I didn't love that, so I don't know. I'm still not totally invested in this arc. Hopefully, it continues to get stronger. But I do like some of the stuff that you mentioned with the dealing with the other Rangers and all that stuff. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet. We'll see if it keeps me. But moving on from that, I know there's a book that you are going to love. We both loved is Jane Foster and Mighty Thor number 2. So
I did like issue 1. I thought issue 2 was.
Oh, you didn't like this issue? Okay.
No, not as much. I thought issue
Okay.
2 was a little weaker than issue 1, but I want to hear why you liked it.
Honestly, I'm trying to remember because it was like the second book I read.
So
I've
in
read
this
19
issue,
books.
yeah. So this issue, we get to see, honestly, a very point A to point B. It was just very, we didn't really get to see a lot of Jane talking to Odin some, which is what bothered me. Because it was about, like, you know, she's trying to save Thor. And then the whole cliffhanger from the last issue is that she now has the hammer. Not Odin's son, has to talk to Odin. I was like, oh, that's such an interesting concept that she's going to talk to Odin, you know, as she has this hammer. And it wasn't really that, this issue.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, like, who was she with? She was with, was it, dang it. Somebody could sense Odin. It was Dr. Voodoo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he could sense another presence and all that. That's, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I read this one. I'm sorry. But I don't know. I just, anytime I get a Jane Foster book, I'm enjoying it.
I won't lie on that one.
Yeah.
It's great to get Jane.
Honestly, I didn't love a lot of books this week. I liked a good amount of them, but I didn't love a lot of them. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Oh no, who's calling at 11 o'clock? I'm like, give me 1 second. Hold on.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
No, stop ringing.
Okay. So yeah, it's Jane. So I don't remember how it ended though. I'm like,
let me see. I don't remember either because this was also one of the earlier books I read. One of this guy shows up. I don't know who he is though.
Oh yeah, he's the guy from where Magic, her realm. That
okay, the like limbo realm.
Limbo, yeah. He's like the one that took over in her absence. He's popped up in New Mutants recently. He's the one.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say he has a lot of history with Magic.
Tavia's acts if Jane is gonna be Thor's queen or not. I don't think they've ever been building towards. They're not even together.
No, I don't think that is in the cards right now. Anyway, right now she's Thor. So at the moment, as we left that issue, yeah. So
she could marry. She could be her own queen, but
yeah, I thought it was interesting where we left Thor. He's and why he threw the hammer and all that stuff, and But anyway. Moving on from that, we'll go into our number 3s, which mine was Dark Crisis, so we already talked about it. So what was yours?
Mine was Power Rangers. We already talked about it.
Okay. Then we're moving right along to Joker number 15. Was this the end? This had to be the end, finally. Right?
Yeah, no, this is finally the end. And what a simmer. What a simmer, man.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I love that he's like telling the story from like the future or I guess the present. And it's like everything skimmed through. He obviously doesn't die. He doesn't kill him. Right. And I'm like, this just, no thanks.
Yeah, it's like even Batman. I felt like I was in Batman's, body listening to Jim talk. And he's like, Jim, where's Joker? Tell me where Joker is. Did you kill Joker? Come on, Jim. Get to the point. That's what I felt like reading this. So, yeah.
Oh, 100%. Then when you get the resolution, you're like, okay.
It's like, okay, yeah, so no. The short answer is no, I didn't kill him. We're back where we started.
See, that would have been a good title for us this week, too. Did Jim Gordon kill the Joker?
Right.
No. We answered your question on that one. Tevye has a follow-up about Thor's queen. He wants Thor and Jane to be married. Jane, I love Jane because she's not dictated by Thor's romance with her. And I think if they threw them together again, she'd be dictated by Thor's romance. And I think they've done a lot more interesting things than them being romantically tied.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jane being her own character, not being tied to Thor in that way, has made her a stronger character and has given her so many character arcs that have built her into this unique person. And I loved she can be Thor, she can be the Valkyrie, she can be Jane the Doctor, and you just that's all you really need right now anyway. So, and
their romance was never, they're not Mary Jane and Peter, they always kept breaking up, they always never worked, so it's just like they're not that.
Right, exactly. I agree. All right, so we already talked about firepower, so I guess we're moving right into our number twos,
Moving
which
in.
mine was Jane, so we already talked about that.
Nice. Mine was Batman. So we already talked
Okay,
about that.
interesting. Curious what your
I
number one
think when
is.
you
So.
find out my number one, you'll be like, oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So we already talked about Poison Ivy. So our last big book then is There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd, number one,
Didn't like
first
it.
issue. You didn't like it?
No.
I liked it. I didn't love it. You know, there
I was
wasn't a
just
whole
kind of
lot to
bored.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The art
It's
was
just
good.
yeah, the art was good. It was just kids got some powers, still some money. Somebody's after him. That was basically it. Yeah. So they didn't give us a whole lot to hang on to there, unfortunately. So yeah, but art was nice. All right, so I guess we're moving right into the number ones. Mine's Batman, no secret. What is your number one, Cat?
Mine's Saga. So that's
Oh,
nothing.
yeah,
I
I
don't
forgot
think
about that.
that's too crazy.
Right.
This is also an end of an arc. So sorry, I was just reading it. We do have a super chat. We'll get to it after I talk
Cool.
about Saga. But yeah, Saga, I just really liked it. This issue, we get to see the ramifications of her brother confessing his feelings, stepbrother, not blood brother, confessing his romantic feelings towards her. And I was like, ooh, this is weird. But the way they handled it, I thought was really good. And then in the end, we get to see their house burn down. It was like the last memory of her father who died. And she, this whole entire time she wasn't breaking down because she's like, well, I need to be there for my mom. This is like the time, like, she's like, I miss my dad. Like she shouts out, dad, dad. And like the mom's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just the house. And she's like dealing with the grief of that. And then we get to see a little bit of Marco's mom and how she's kind of dealing with the grief. So I just thought it was a well-rounded issue.
Nice. Very cool. It's one of these days I will catch up on that book.
Yeah, no, definitely recommend. Saga is not ended. It was on a major hiatus, but I don't think it's ending anytime soon. Then we'll get to that super chat. Supremo Omega, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Isn't Lady Sif the more fitting love for Thor? Yeah, why not? I think so.
I like that better. I think both Sif and Jane are a little too independent and strong for Thor. I don't think he works well with strong women. It doesn't seem to ever go well for him. So
yeah, true. Maybe he just needs someone new. I think that could be an answer too.
I think it would never happen because they hate each other. I think it'd really be interesting to see Enchantress with Thor.
That would be an interesting twist. At least, like you said, it would be an interesting arc for sure if they did something like that. If you want a love for Thor, it just should be interesting, I think Lady Sif, like you said, is more interesting, but is Jane and Thor interesting? No, because that's not who really. She was just like, again, as like when she was the love interest, she was good. She's a good character, but she was just there, she was just there. But now she's a character. Now, she has so many dimensions. So,
plus, ever since she became Thor, Thor's basically been jealous of her, and I don't think he's ever gotten over that. I mean, every time,
that's unhealthy.
Right.
That's not healthy for a romance.
No, not at all. All right. So that's all our books. That's it.
That is all our books. I mean, we can maybe do some questions if you guys have any, as we'll do most anticipated first. But if you guys have any questions, we'll answer some.
Right. So most anticipated stuff coming out tomorrow. And our lists are different this week, mostly.
For once. So, there's always that one book, though. There's always that one book.
Yeah.
That we're like, we agree on that.
Yeah. So what are your three most anticipated?
3 this week is Flavor Girls. It's like a magical girl Boom Studios book. So I thought that was interesting. Then we have my number 2, which we both agreed on, as a book that we're anticipating, is Daredevil, just because I didn't love not Dark Crisis. What is the title? What was it called? Devil's Reign. Devil's Reign. Yeah. Devil's Reign. Didn't like that. Obviously, couldn't even remember the title of it. So I'm curious to see if that's going to lose momentum for the book, or we're going to go back to how good the book was before that. And then my number 1 is actually Dark Crisis Worlds Without Justice League, just because I'm so curious to see Superman and this Robin team up. And I know it's Tom King, and he's usually a miss for me, but I just think this concept's interesting.
Yeah, cool. And for me, Star Wars: The Mandalorian. I'm not reading a whole lot of the Star Wars stuff, but I love Mandalorian, and you see Baby Groot. I mean, Baby Groot, Baby Yoda. Get my franchises mixed up. I'll give it a shot. See if it's if it catches my attention. And then we got Axe Eve of Judgment. Just because I want to see what this event is, I'm really curious.
I'm not even picking it up.
You're not picking it up. I'm
No.
picking it up. I'm too curious about it. I got to see where it's going and kind of judge from there. And then of course you already talked about Daredevil, so that's a given. So that's our most anticipated. So looks like we do have some comments and questions.
We do. So let's see. First is from Brian. What are you doing reviewing of comics and reading Saga? I might have to agree with that, Brant. I think you should read Saga.
You know what? So I was not early on the Saga train. I read volume 1 a few years ago, maybe like 3 years ago. And up until then, I'd never read it. Well, I'd read one random issue when I was doing a podcast, and I didn't like it. So, I talk about comics that I like. I don't have to read every single comic that comes out, though.
Just as I'm not reading Axe tomorrow,
Exactly.
which most people will probably be like, you should read Axe because it's such an important book. I'm like, yeah. I'm good. I'm good without that, right, for sure. Okay, so let's see what other comments we have. Hello, SM Down. We're doing a Q&A, guys, for the last 15 minutes if we get enough questions. We got Parker Luck who says, did you two pick up a Blaze Prometheus?
No, did not. I haven't even heard of that.
Me either. I know, I'm not as much on the Blaze radar, I guess.
Right.
Tevia, how would you fix DC Comics? I wouldn't. I would just tell good stories and not worry about the continuity of 5 years ago.
Yeah, I will say one thing because I know you're not reading it, Kat. Flashpoint Beyond _3 this week.
Yes.
It seemed to vaguely tie into Dark Crisis, which I thought was interesting. They mentioned what's his name? God, why did I just forget his name? The bad guy, the main bad guy, Pariah. In Flashpoint Beyond, they mentioned that. Yeah, and how so I thought that was interesting. They're at least attempting to loosely tie those in. But.
All right. Another question here from Willie. Do you think we see Secret Wars as a live action movie?
No.
I think they'll use the title.
They might. Yeah, they might use the title, but it's not going to be the traditional Secret Wars. So I don't think. Any more than Civil War was the traditional Civil War. Yeah, no, I don't think we'll see that either. The other questions, you don't want to do any more funny videos.
Not on Comic Book Weekly. I know I guess you're talking about the skits we used to do.
Yeah.
No, not really.
No. This is pretty much it on this channel now.
Yeah, I know we used to do a lot with for people who are new or watching on Mike's channel. We used to do a lot more skits or event stuff we do more of, but
there was also twice as many of us. Yeah.
There's twice as many as us back then, but also I feel our lives are just very different. We're just focusing on a lot of different things, and I think back then we wanted to make, at least for me and Brant, I know Mike, he does have his YouTube channel and he's doing an awesome job with it, but for both me and Brant, we're focusing more on our creative comic books that we're making, and we love doing this just more for fun. At least for me, I do this show for fun. I think back in the day, because I did a lot more journalism stuff, I was doing it more to build my career, not more, but I was doing it for fun too. But that was my thought process and why we did so much content. And now it's just no, I just want to talk to my friends every Tuesday and talk about the thing we like.
Yeah, and similar. I was doing press and stuff at the time when I started doing this show as well. So just, motivations change and lives change, and Kat and I are very, very busy. So,
yeah, oh my God. Sometimes
not that Mike isn't.
No, Mike is very busy, which is why I couldn't come on
in different
today,
ways.
But, but he also likes putting a lot of his time into the reviews. He likes putting a lot of time into the videos. So.
Right.
Yes, but that was a good question. We do have a super chat, and then I'll go back to the other questions. Supreme Omega, $5 super chat. Thank you. It's sad a lot of these teen heroes and teams are not allowed to grow up in age, whether it's Young Avengers, Runaways, Miles, Kamala. Because they need the teen heroes. When they make new teen heroes, they don't sell as well. They need the names. Like, if they're not teen heroes anymore, who are they selling to the teens?
Yeah, and every time they do age them up, they end up finding a way to de-age them. It only works to serve a short period of time, and then they have to go back to the drawing board again. But like you said, Kat, a lot of people complain when there's new people introduced or they don't sell well because, like you said, they don't have the name and stuff. There's very few exceptions to that, unfortunately.
Yes. Teviev's, we're the fixers. That's what I think I've learned from Teviev's question, because how are we going to fix Marvel animation? How are we going to fix the Marvel comics? Are they all broken? Is there anything that's not broken? No, I mean, I think Marvel Animation's doing a good job. They got their What If thing. I think there's like a Spider-Man cartoon coming out. There's the X-Men 92 cartoon coming out. So I think they're doing their thing. Just because they're not doing the same thing from 10 years ago doesn't mean they're not doing good. And for Marvel Comics, I think they are actually doing the right thing in continuity wise, where they're like just doing comics they want to write. Like, stop focusing so much on these, like, 10 years ago we made Jane touch this rock and now we need to touch upon her touching this rock. It's like, no, we could just tell the next story. We don't have, I think that's where DC is having an issue, is that they're not doing that.
I don't know. It's kind of weird because we do kind of criticize if we don't like things, but that's, it's all personal opinion. It's all subjective. But the fact of the matter is, if they're getting viewership and if they're getting readership, then I don't guess it's broken. You know what I'm saying? In as far as they look at it, if they're making sales and getting viewers, there's nothing to be fixed. But
I agree.
I don't watch the animation, so I don't know if it's good or not. So.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched any Marvel animation in a long time.
Yeah.
Parker Luck says, what's your thoughts on Amazing Spider-Man issue 900? Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. Usually those milestones, they do something big, but the current story we haven't been loving, so I'm a little, I don't know, I'm a little bit wary about it. So yeah,
we'll see. All right, another question we have here. Mass Panther, how does it feel to be the GOAT of comic reviews? I don't know if I am, but I appreciate you thinking that. Thank you. I appreciate it. How does it feel to be like, anything that someone else thinks you're good at, or like, you think like, you've been doing a long time or whatever. I think James Tynion or Scott Snyder probably, like, every once in a while doesn't think they're like the best person in comics or like the biggest writer in comics, even though we think that the person doesn't usually think that. So
right.
I think that's my answer on that. Let's see what else we have. Mike's always busy with the tennis court. That is true.
Yeah,
he's not a lawyer, so he's not busy in the law court. Let's see if there's anything else here. We see shipping question we'll answer. We got the Miles Morales story. I think we already talked about with the What If stuff, I believe, a couple episodes ago. Sabrina Mega shipping question: Carolina X Nico or Carolina X Zavin? Ooh, I think Nico, just because. I just like I like Zavin a lot, but I always saw them as like first love. I feel like that was just like, I love Zavin as a character, but then maybe not their romance as much.
The way Rainbow handled the two of them together kind of won me over with them as a couple.
Yeah, I agree. I think that last series, I don't know if I didn't have that last series, if I would have agreed. I agree.
Right. Exactly.
Tevia, you didn't reword the question. We still have answered that question. Jay says, Cat's pick of the week is always one of the first few videos I watch on Wednesday. Thank you.
Awesome.
I appreciate I try my best. And then the bronze page says, what comic would have the worst chance to be optioned into a show or movie? He thinks Spawn. They tried with Spawn. I think Saga. I think because there's so much hype around it, and because it has to be so visually interesting, I think Saga would be really hard.
Spawn actually had I think a pretty successful animated show. The movie sucked, but I think that they did an HBO show. Yeah, back in the 90s. Yeah, so I don't know. The Saga, yeah, that would be a hard one. Man, I don't know beyond that. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head of a good one.
Yeah. We also have Willie. How do you feel about the Arrowverse sort of ending? Fine. I just miss Legends. That's it.
Yeah, we talked about that last week too. We both Kat and I, we finished Arrow, and I guess you finished Legends. That Arrow's the only one that I finished completely. So.
Yeah, I did. I finished Legends. Okay. Other than that, I see that's all the questions. So I think we're gonna start wrapping up. Thank you guys for watching the show. Was there any other questions you want to answer?
No, I was laughing at one of the questions that was rephrased again.
Yeah. But yes, guys, thank you so much. I guess there's more questions actually. I'm trying to get to the hour mark. We're trying here. We do have a ship question, DC shipping question. Tim X Connor. I mean, if ever, like, I think an alternate reality would be really fun for that. I don't see it in the regular universe.
No.
So yeah,
I just don't see it.
Ghosted, I'm so sorry that we didn't answer your fart question, but I don't know if this is shown to do that. We go on with Tim and Connor.
Did you see the Phil question?
Oh, Gus? No, I missed that. Oh, Gus asks, is Phil your rock? The wind beneath your wings, your best friend even? Yeah, no, Phil is definitely my rock and the wind beneath my wings and my best friend. He is my business partner. He's my dude. Love Phil. Shout out to Phil. Let's see if there's anything else. What is your favorite animated DC film? Under the Red Hood.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Under the Red Hood. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if there's any other things. Any thoughts on Clea trying to resurrect Doctor Strange in the current run? Well, I dropped it for the same thoughts I said in the beginning. I don't like it because I'm like, what's the point of this series?
I like the book. I think it's crazy that, she just comes out of nowhere back into his life just to resurrect him when she hasn't been around for eons. So.
All right. And then Chevy asks, what was your favorite Marvel animated film? I don't have one. I don't really have one.
I couldn't tell you because I don't remember the last one I watched that I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, no, I don't think I ever did. So now I think those are all the questions. So thank you very much, guys, for giving those off. And yeah, let's start wrapping up. So Brant, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, so I'm going to drop a link in the show notes. It's a long link. I apologize for that. But this is the first episode of the new podcast that Lisa and I do.
I listened to, I think, most of it.
Oh, cool. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good.
We're still feeling our way. Yeah, good.
I did enjoy it. I would say as your friend, like I knew a lot of the beginning parts, but I was also thinking of like a new listener. I think you guys did a really, really good job.
Thank you.
So it was fun. I watched it like after a podcast, so I was starting to I was falling asleep when I was watching it. So I was like, I should watch this at another point. And then I listened to it after that, and it was really, really good. I enjoyed it.
Cool. Thank you so much. So if you'd like to know more about,
listen to it.
Yeah, everything we do with Last Number Press and creatively in our lives, and plus we also talk about TV we're watching, stuff like that, books we're reading, whatever. Star Fantasy, we're trying to do it monthly, so it's not going to be all the time, but yeah, you can check it out there. Beyond that,
every day?
No, not going to be every day.
I'm unsubscribing, man. I'm not getting my daily dose of Last Ember.
Oh man. Beyond that, we do actually have another Kickstarter coming up. Let me get the link real quick because we have a pre-launch page up now. I almost forgot to even promote it. Sorry about that. But it is a steampunk retelling of the Nutcracker and the Mouse King. So if you're a fan of that story and you like steampunk, it's going to be an 80+ page graphic novel that we are launching later, hopefully later this month or maybe early next month. So be on the lookout for that. You can find it at lastsummerpress.com/Carol. Thank you, Kat, for that.
No problem.
But that's it for me.
I saw the thumbnail for that. And it was chef.
Yeah. And that's the interior artist as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
definitely go check it out. Good timing. And you said when is it launching? You said around December?
No, hopefully we're launching it this month.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
damn.
Yeah,
so people are gonna get it for Christmas then.
Yeah, doing a Christmas in July thing if we can get it together. That's the plan. Later this month. So
yeah. Cool. Love. For me, I already mentioned it. We got about a week or so of still buy. We're like a little less than $6,000 to be funded. So hopefully guys go check that out. What else I got going on? Nothing this week, but I'll be in San Diego when that's happening. So I'll promote that more next week. But I'm actually gonna be on 2 panels. That's gonna be cool.
Nice.
Gonna be on my Kickstarter panel with like Jimmy Palmiotti and Joseph Illage, some cool people. And then for people like YouTube, I'm actually going to be on a panel about how to make a successful YouTube channel. So definitely go check that out as well. So I'm going to be on 2 panels for San Diego. And then every week after that, I'll be at a Comic-Con all summer. So look forward to that. And I might be in a state near you. So don't miss out. And other than that, we talked about Comic Uno a lot, surprisingly, in this video. So if you guys don't know what that is, go check out my YouTube channel, Comic Uno. I do reviews every Wednesday about the books that you should buy and check out and pick of the weeks and things like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next one. And here's some banners. So Brent, you want to shout out all our banner stuff?
Yeah, so definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we upload, which is just this show, but also on Mike's channel so you don't miss any of his videos. And also you can follow us on social media at Comic Frontline across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course on YouTube, and give us a thumbs up because it really does help. So thank you. Cool.
All right. Bye guys. And hopefully all 3 of us will be on next week, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.